Elliot Alderson might just be television's most unreliable narrator. By the end of this story, you'll realize that even he doesn't know what's real anymore. In 4 seasons, Mr. Robot delivered more plot twists about split personalities than most shows manage in their entire run, and somehow it all actually makes sense. Let's get to it. Season 1, meet Elliot Alderson, a cybersecurity engineer by day, vigilante hacker by night, and full-time social anxiety sufferer. While most people are scrolling through the social media, Elliot's busy exposing child predators and corporate corruption. Only that he's not your normal hero. This guy talks to us, his imaginary audience, more than he talks to actual humans. Elliot works at a company called AllSafe, protecting their biggest client, E-Corp. But Elliot calls them Evil Corp because, well, they basically own everything and everyone. One night, someone hacks Evil Corp's servers, and Elliot's the only one skilled enough to stop it. The hackers leave behind a calling card, Fsociety. The next day, a mysterious man in a black hoodie approaches Elliot on the subway. His name? Mr. Robot. Turns out that hack was basically a job interview. Mr. Robot leads a group of anarchist hackers operating out of an abandoned arcade, and they want Elliot to help them pull off the ultimate hack, erasing all debt records from Evil Corp's servers. Just imagine waking up tomorrow and your student loans just disappeared. That's the dream they're selling. The Fsociety crew is like a cyberpunk version of a heist movie team. There's Mobley, Romero, Trenton, and then there's Darlene. Think Fight Club's Marla Singer, but with better hacking skills and even more attitude. Elliot's got personal beef with Evil Corp too. Their chemical plant leaked toxic waste that killed his father, giving him cancer. When young Elliot tried to tell his mom about his dad's illness, his father got angry and accidentally pushed him out a window. So yeah, there's more to it than just changing the world. It's about revenge. Their first major target is Steel Mountain, an offline data storage facility where Evil Corp keeps their backup files. They can't just hack it remotely. Someone has to get inside. They disguise Elliot as a tech billionaire, get him a tour, and he plants a device that'll overheat the servers and fry everything. Mission accomplished. But there's a problem. They're working with a mysterious Chinese hacker group called the Dark Army, and suddenly, these partners decide to pull out. Without taking down the backup servers in China, destroying Steel Mountain was basically pointless. While all this is happening, Elliot's trying to maintain some semblance of a normal life. He's seeing a therapist named Krista, dating his neighbor Shayla, who sells him morphine for his depression, and trying to help his childhood friend Angela deal with her own Evil Corp trauma. Angela's mom also died from that same chemical leak, and she's determined to get justice. She even takes a job at Evil Corp, thinking she can change things from the inside. The CEO, Philip Price, takes a creepy interest in her, but we'll come back to why that matters later. Then there's Tyrell Wellick. Remember Patrick Bateman from American Psycho? But instead of murdering people, he just pays homeless guys to let him beat them up. He's Evil Corp's ambitious executive who's willing to do anything to climb the corporate ladder. When he doesn't get promoted to CTO, things get messy. His equally ruthless wife suggests he seduce the new CTO's wife for leverage, but Tyrell accidentally kills her instead. Oops. Meanwhile, Elliot manages to convince the Dark Army leader, White Rose, to rejoin their operation. White Rose is obsessed with time. She has her watch beep every minute and always talks about how precious time is. Little did we know how important that detail would become. As the hack approaches, Elliot and Darlene celebrate, and in the heat of the moment, he kisses her. Her reaction? Complete disgust. Why? Because she's his sister. Yeah, Elliot forgot he had a sister. That's not normal. This makes Elliot realize something's seriously wrong with his mind. He pulls out a CD labeled "Only Open If You Think You're Crazy" and finds photos of Mr. Robot with his father. Mr. Robot appears and says, "That's right, son. I'm secretly alive." When other people look at Elliot talking to Mr. Robot, they just see him talking to himself. His father is dead, and Mr. Robot is actually Elliot's split personality. Fight Club style, Elliot has been having entire conversations with himself, planning this massive hack without even knowing it. Tyrell Wellick, who's just been fired from Evil Corp, shows up at Elliot's apartment. Turns out he's been having secret meetings with Mr. Robot, the other side of Elliot's personality, and he's ready to burn Evil Corp to the ground. Cut to 3 days later. Elliot wakes up in Tyrell's car with no memory of what happened. The hack worked. All debt has been erased. Half the world is celebrating while the other half is panicking as the global economy collapses. Season 1 ends with a knock on Elliot's door, and we're left wondering, where the hell is Tyrell? Season 2 opens with Elliot trying to maintain a strict routine to keep Mr. Robot at bay. He's living with his mother, hanging out with his friend Leon, who's obsessed with Seinfeld and basically trying to live a normal life. The thing about having a split personality is that you can't exactly ground yourself. Mr. Robot keeps breaking through, insisting they need to continue their their work. Evil Corp wasn't destroyed by the hack, they actually used it as an excuse to launch their own cryptocurrency, eCoin, making them more powerful than ever. Fsociety is now a global phenomenon. Everyone wants to join the revolution, and with Elliot MIA, his sister Darlene is running the show. But then Romero, one of their original members, turns up dead. Was it the FBI? A rival hacker group? Corporate assassins? FBI agent Dominique DePiero is on the case, and she's good at her job. She quickly tracks down Fsociety's arcade headquarters. The walls are closing in. Meanwhile, Elliot meets a guy who needs help with his website. Seems innocent enough until Elliot realizes it's a dark web marketplace for human trafficking. Therefore, he shuts it down, which pisses off some very dangerous people. Fortunately, his friend Leon turns out to have some serious knife skills and saves Elliot's life. Who could have guessed that Leon works for the Dark Army, and he's been protecting Elliot this whole time? But the biggest twist of season 2 comes when Elliot's therapist Krista drops a bombshell. You know you haven't been staying with your mother, right? That's right. Elliot's been in prison this entire time. His mother's house was just his mind's way of coping with incarceration. He was arrested, not for the Fsociety hack, but for stealing his therapist's ex-boyfriend's dog. Yes, that seemingly minor subplot from season 1, it landed him in jail. Before we continue, I've got to ask, are you following all these twists? If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, hit that subscribe button. While Elliot's been locked up, Fsociety continues to operate. They hack into an Evil Corp executive's smart house to force her to leave town, but she turns out to be connected to the Washington Township case, the chemical leak that killed Elliot and Angela's parents. Darlene decides the best solution is murder, but before they can do anything, the FBI raids the house. The Dark Army kills their inside contact before he can talk, showing just how ruthless these hackers really are. The FBI catches Darlene and reveals they know almost everything about Fsociety. They're not arresting her because they want the man behind it all. They think it's Tyrell Wellick. So Darlene becomes an FBI informant. Angela, meanwhile, uses her newfound hacking skills to access Evil Corp's files about Washington Township. She discovers the chemical leak wasn't just an accident. It was part of a secret project run by a Chinese minister. That minister? White Rose, the leader of the Dark Army. When Elliot gets out of prison, the Dark Army fills him in on Phase 2. There's just one problem. Elliot has no idea what they're talking about. This confuses everyone because Phase 2 was supposedly his plan. Here's where we learn just how unreliable our narrator has been. Mr. Robot has been keeping secrets from Elliot's conscious mind, making plans and having meetings that Elliot doesn't remember. Following clues he left for himself, Elliot finally comes face to face with Tyrell Wellick. Tyrell's been hiding with the Dark Army's help, working on Phase 2. Since Evil Corp is moving all their paper records to one building in New York to recover from the hack, they're going to blow it up. Elliot's horrified. This isn't about justice anymore, it's about mass murder. He tries to stop it, but Tyrell shoots him. As Elliot falls, he realizes something that makes everything even more confusing. He thought Tyrell was another one of his personalities. Nope, Tyrell is very real, and Elliot is very shot. Season 3. Season 3 picks up immediately after that cliffhanger. Elliot survives his gunshot wound and finds himself in the middle of a three-way war between Fsociety, Evil Corp, and the Dark Army. The hack that started everything has created chaos. The global economy is in freefall, riots are breaking out, and people are looking for someone to blame. Evil Corp is using the crisis to consolidate power, while the Dark Army has their own mysterious agenda. We finally learn what the Dark Army really wants. It's not just about bringing down capitalism. White Rose has been building some kind of machine at the Washington Township plant. What does it do? That's the million-dollar question that won't be answered until the final season. Angela gets pulled deeper into White Rose's web. In a weird scene that feels like a fever dream, White Rose shows Angela something that completely changes her worldview. We don't see what it is, but whatever White Rose reveals turns Angela into a true believer. Meanwhile, Elliot and Mr. Robot are forced to work together as the FBI closes in on Fsociety. They pull off increasingly desperate hacks to stay ahead of the authorities, but every victory comes at a cost. The season builds to a massive confrontation where all the show's various plots collide. The Dark Army's true plan is revealed, several major characters die, and Elliot realizes that everything he thought he knew about the conspiracy was just the tip of the iceberg. Season 4. The final season of Mr. Robot is where the show stops pulling punches and goes full psychological horror. Elliot is more determined than ever to take down the secret cabal of billionaires who really run the world, a group called the Deus Group. But first, he has to survive. White Rose tries to have him killed with a heroin overdose, but he's saved by an unlikely ally, Philip Price, Evil Corp's CEO. Why would Price save Elliot? Because White Rose just killed Angela, and it turns out Angela was Price's daughter. You see that creepy interest he had in her? Suddenly makes sense. Price reveals that the Deus Group is real. It is a ghostly organization of the world's most powerful people, with White Rose pulling the strings. To take them down, Elliot and Price work together in an uneasy alliance. The plan involves exposing the Deus Group during their annual meeting. It's a complicated scheme involving blackmail, hacking, and social engineering. But just when it seems like they might actually win, White Rose reveals she's been 3 steps ahead the entire time. We then learn the truth about Elliot's father through a brutal therapy session forced on him by a drug dealer from season 1. All those good memories Elliot has of his dad, they were created by Mr. Robot to protect him from the truth. His father sexually abused him. This revelation shatters Elliot's world. Everything he thought he knew about his motivation, his personality, even his mental illness, was built on repressed trauma. But the show isn't done with us yet. In the series finale, White Rose activates her mysterious machine, and Elliot finds himself in what appears to be an alternate reality where everything is perfect. His father is alive and loving. Angela is alive, and they're engaged, and he's successful and happy. It's everything he ever wanted, which means he has to give it up. The Elliot we've been following for 4 seasons isn't the real Elliot. He's another personality, the mastermind, created to deal with trauma and save the world. The real Elliot has been sleeping peacefully in his mind while his alter ego fought corporate corruption and battled mental illness. I actually loved every bit of Mr. Robot. The story of corporate conspiracy, mental illness, family trauma, and one man's journey to separate reality from the voices in his head. Let me ask you something. How does that make you feel about the entire story? Was any of it real? Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts, especially on that ending. In the end, the mastermind's job is done. He saved the world, exposed the conspiracy, and helped the real Elliot heal from his trauma. As he fades away, the real Elliot wakes up for the first time in years, finally ready to live his own life. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to check out my complete analysis of Lost, where I get even deeper into the psychological themes that make these shows so compelling. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.